Afternoon, guys. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters and the Pathfinder School. I want to continue with this series today in the shadow of Nessmuk and go a little bit deeper into my mentality of what I'm trying to accomplish here. And, ultralight hunting is nothing new. Ultralight backpacking is nothing new. Combining ultralight equipment with going out into the woods for things like hunting and fishing is nothing new. Obviously, it's been done since the time of George Washington Sears. We talked about that in the last video, and it's been done extensively over the past 20 years as well. However, what I'm trying to do from my own experimentation is most of what you see on the internet when you look up things like ultralight hunting talks about out west. People are lightening their gear loads so that they can pack game animals out, and that's really the mainstay of why they want to lighten their loads to begin with. They are not trying to become ultralight backpackers necessarily. They're trying to carry in the lightest amount of gear possible deep into a wilderness area so that if they harvest large game like an elk or a mule deer and they have to pack that meat out, then it's going to be in addition to whatever they carried in, unless they're going to make multiple trips. And that generally involves some type of a framed pack that's going to weigh 4 or 5 pounds in and of itself. So I can forego all of that here in the Eastern Woodlands because that's not what I'm interested in. If you have watched my videos for any length of time at all, you'll know that I am much more into the small game mentality of hunting, trapping, and things like that, and more into the aspects of fishing than I am big game hunting. Yes, I'll shoot a deer probably once a year to put meat in the freezer, make some hamburger, make some jerky, and done with it. It doesn't trip my trigger to go out and kill deer. What I enjoy going out into the woods and staying for more than one day at a time. And if I get to fish while I'm out there and I can supplement the food that I carry in with fresh caught fish, or I can shoot a squirrel or a rabbit or a pheasant or a turkey even while I'm out there, and I can supplement the food that I brought in with that wild game, then that's very enjoyable to me. And I think that that's the difference in my mentality going into this. And it's the same way I think Nessmuk's mentality was, and probably Horace Kephart's as well, as many of the others out there that wrote books about the Eastern United States is. The hiking in ultralight was not a means to an end of being able to kill something and come back out with that game. The means to the end was going in as light as possible so it was enjoyable, and then doing the other peripheral hobbies like hunting and fishing along the way for even more enjoyment in the outdoors. And that's really what I'm after. However, once you start to add all that peripheral gear, whether it's even something as lightweight or as simple as this M6 takedown rifle from TPS Arms, you're still talking about something that weighs 5 pounds plus, as well as the ammunition. You talk about carrying in ultralight fishing gear, you can get away with pretty light weights, a pound or less a lot of times, less than 2 pounds certainly with ultralight fishing gear. And I've got setups like that, especially if you're talking tenkara or some ultralight sectional rod that you can pack away into your backpack like a Daiwa mini spin that you're going to use as a spin casting rod for trout and things like that. Then it's very easy to maintain those low weights. But when you talk about hunting, you have to think about the peripheral items that you're going to need. And one of the things that I read recently on the internet about this, the whole ultralight hunting thing that I really rang true with me was, when you're deciding what you're going to not take, because we all have a tendency to overpack, no matter what the occasion, we have a tendency to overpack. And that's part of that going ultralight thing too, is it forces you down to minimums. But one of the things that it said in that article was, if it's going to help you take game, you're going to pack it. Now, if your hike in is a means to an end, and the only thing you're really worried about on that trip is, am I going to get my buck? Am I going to take that trophy elk? Then by all means, if you think it's going to help you harvest that animal, take it with you. If you're going out there to have fun, and you don't necessarily have to have the reach of a 22 rifle and scope for small game, or a full size 410 or 12 gauge shotgun for small game, then you can reduce that in both a little bit of weight and probably size, because this is a takedown. It will fit completely inside of a backpack. And I can pack this in and hunt with 410 or 22 long rifle in this case, and carry something that is very light in weight, certainly lighter than a Savage Model 42, I believe it is, that is over under 410 22. And I have one of those up at the house, but it's a full size break open gun, and it's heavy. It's got a big walnut stock on it. It weighs way more than this gun does, for sure. So again, what is the reason that you're going out there? If you're going out there only to hunt, then you need to take everything that you need, and your weight's going to add up fast. If you're going out there to enjoy the outdoors, and if you happen to get some game meat along the way to supplement the food that you brought for your enjoyment, then you don't need to be as critical with yourself. You know, one of the things that I'm struggling with right now is I do have a set of Nikon optics in my backpack. And it's a set of proof. I'll show them to you. I mean, yeah, I guess that's why we're here, right? So let me just set this down real quick. They're in the top of this backpack right here, where they're easy to get at, because this pack particularly has 2 backpacks in one, so you can take one off and actually use it for a scouting pack. So what I've put in that pack is mostly only the things that would walk away with me when I took this pack, or something I need to get at right away. So I've got a set of Nikon optics here that are Pro Staff optics. I think they're 10 by 42s. That's a pretty healthy pair of binoculars for somebody who's looking for squirrels, right? Let's just be honest. If I were looking for deer, trying to find a deer bedded down across a ridge somewhere and figuring out how I'm going to use the wind to work my way to that deer with my bow or something like that, then a 10 by 42 binocular makes a lot of sense. But to me, some cheaper, smaller version of a binocular probably makes more sense if you're only using it for the occasional, hey, I want to look around and see what I can see off in the distance. Maybe you're on a ridge and you want to see something that you want to travel to, a body of water you want to fish, and you want a little closer look at that body of water to see what it looks like before you get there and make that trip downhill. You really don't need something as powerful for that. So I'm kind of debating that already, as far as, do I have more stuff in here for hunting than I really need? Or would I be just as well off to have some smaller set of optics, some cheaper set of optics, and, you know, a few extra rounds of ammunition, which I have in the belt pouches that are on this backpack, and then only the ammunition that fits inside the TPS Arms takedown, because it does hold ammunition in and of itself inside the magazine well. It holds 15 22s and 6, is it 14 or 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 rounds of 22, 6 rounds of 410. And then I have the ability to carry another 10 rounds of 410 inside the belt pouches of this. That's probably more ammunition than I'm ever going to need for 3 or 4 days, without a doubt. If I shot 5 rounds of that ammunition combined over the course of 3 days, I would be surprised. So I can get away with a lot less, is what I'm saying, if I'm not planning to go out and take trophies. If that's not the reason I'm out there. The reason I'm out there is to enjoy myself, and the small game is a bonus, then it's not as important to me, and I don't have to be as prepared for it. So I'm making things as convenient as I can, but I'm also carrying the least amount possible. And I think that is what's really important. So back to the hunting aspect of things. Obviously, I've got a pack that is purpose-built for hunting. It also can be used for fishing. I'm going to trade this pack a couple different times for different packs. I've got a couple things I want to try, but this one is purpose-built for hunting. This is the Free Lift 45 liter from Fjällräven. We talked about that. It has an outer pack on it that's made as a scouting pack so that you can take this away from camp. So you don't have to carry this entire pack every time you walk away from camp. Okay guys, so let's break this down a little bit to just the hunting elements within this pack setup, because that weight is going to be in addition to what we're trying to achieve, obviously. We have the M6 Scout, which is a takedown 22 long rifle 410. It stores ammunition in the stock, so it's a self-contained hunting unit. It will also break completely down. It has a pin here that can be pushed completely out so that you can break it down to fold it in half if you wanted to put it inside of the pack. So that's pretty much all you need there. Now, the pack itself has the ability here to store ammunition in these waist pockets. You can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of 410 ammunition in there with my compass. That would not necessarily go with me into the woods if I were just on a quick scout, because I would probably be more likely to only take this separate pack off of here and take it with me. And so it very simply comes off by unsnapping here and removing it out of a loop here, just like this. And you have the same scenario at the bottom and the same scenario at the top. So you have 6 connection points here that you have to remove to get this pack off. But it's really not that much of a hassle. It may appear to be because they're tight, but that's a good thing that they are tight, because you want that stability in a pack like this. You've got that, you've got one more over here. And the reason that I'm doing this to begin with is I want to show you this pack separated, because I never actually did that before on video, and I want you to be able to see that. And then we have this configuration, and you have this pouch here that, when it's connected, is actually a butt pad to shove your rifle or your bow or whatever gun you're carrying down between the 2 packs and down to here so it doesn't fall out. That can be completely removed, or it can be tucked up inside like I have it normally when I'm carrying the pack. And then this pack has separate backpack straps here inside that you would connect here. Once you take this off, you connect these to it, and then you have a set of backpack straps on here so that you can then have a separate scouting backpack that you're carrying away from camp to carry your essentials for hunting in. And inside that, I have my map case, I have my optics, I have water filtration, which is not necessarily in here because it is a hunting necessity. It's in here because it's easy to get at when I'm on the trail. I have a foam sit pad, again, multifunctional in that I can use it around camp, but also great for in the woods while hunting. Bird bag and camouflage cover for the backpack, and folding saw. That is the contents complete of what I carry in this scouting pack, or what's on the outermost area of this backpack for travel. Okay guys, that gives us a pretty good starting point of what we're actually trying to do in this series. We're not trying to hunt mule deer 10 miles deep and carry them out. We're not trying to rack up 1,200 miles or more on the Appalachian Trail. What we're trying to do is walk in the shadow of Nessmuk, in that we are going to the outdoors for recreational purposes, and we want to smooth it and not rough it. So if we want to fish for enjoyment, that's great. If we want to do a little small game hunting for enjoyment, that's great. If we want to camp so that we're not uncomfortable, that we're very comfortable in our camp and we get a good night's sleep, that's great too. All we have to do is figure out what we actually need versus what we might think we want, and whittle that down to necessity items that will keep us comfortable, keep us happy, and will be durable enough to last us over time so that we can do multiple trips with the same gear. All right, guys, I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters and the Pathfinder School. I appreciate you joining me for another video today. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, and for our business, for all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. Don't forget to check out my website at selfrelianceoutfitters.com. Don't forget to check out my Amazon link to my Amazon store at the bottom. It's got lots and lots of products in it that we may not carry on Self-Reliance Outfitters. And also, don't forget to check out our virtual classroom at Pathfinder School Worldwide, thinkific.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next video.